Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a completely silent, basically invisible forest that quietly transforms small, everyday investments into truly massive wealth over time. This is a concept that definitely doesn't make the flashy daily headlines, and it for sure doesn't happen overnight. But if you can understand how to harness it, it is the absolute foundation of financial growth. We're talking about the hidden, quiet power of compounding.
Okay, let's kick things off by having you imagine something for a second. Imagine you go out to your yard and plant a tiny little seed. Think about what happens when you eagerly run out to look at the ground the very next morning. You wake up, you check the soil, and what do you see? Absolutely nothing.
And honestly, that right there perfectly illustrates the frustrating reality of early investing, because a week later, there's still nothing. Even a whole month goes by, and the ground looks exactly the same as the day you planted that seed. This is exactly the point where most of us would just throw our hands up, assume the seed is a dud, and walk away entirely. But beneath the surface, something incredible is actually happening. Roots are quietly spreading out. There is this invisible foundation growing that pretty soon is going to be impossible to ignore. Building wealth follows this exact same pattern. It's an invisible force working for you every single day, whether you happen to notice it or not. Let's see how this actually plays out in the real world. Meet Sophia and Ethan. They're both 25 years old, they work similar jobs, and they make roughly the same salary. Every month, they each have a little bit of cash left over after paying rent and bills. Sophia decides to invest hers. Ethan, on the other hand, spends his on experiences. Upgrading his phone, taking weekend trips, eating out. Now, here is the crazy part. After just 1 year, neither choice feels all that dramatic. Their lives look almost completely identical. But that invisible force, it's already started its work for Sophia. Section 1. The Hidden Builder and the Bamboo Forest. Consider this amazing type of bamboo tree. For years, people water it, they protect it, they wait super patiently, and there is almost zero visible growth. Then, suddenly, in one single season, it just shoots upward at an absolutely astonishing speed. Now, did it just randomly decide to grow? No way. It spent years building a deep, massive root system completely underground. Your early investing years, they are silently building that exact same essential foundation. Think of every single dollar you invest as a tiny little worker. Sophia sends 100 of these workers out into the world. Each worker goes out and earns just a little bit of money. But instead of spending those earnings, she actually uses them to hire even more workers. Those new workers, they start earning money too. Pretty soon, she doesn't just have 100 workers, she's got thousands. Her whole workforce is expanding exponentially, and she literally hasn't lifted a finger.
So, what are we actually talking about here? This is compounding. It's the invisible force of money making money that then makes even more money, quietly expanding your wealth over time. It is silent, it's continuous, and it is highly, highly effective.
Let's fast forward and check in on Sophia at year 5. She checks her investment account. It's definitely grown, but it's nothing crazy, just enough to keep her encouraged. Some of her friends even tease her a bit, asking, "Wait, you've been investing for 5 years and that's all you have to show for it?" But Sophia just smiles. She understands something they don't. She knows compounding rewards patience, not impatience, and that the really big gains are absolutely still to come. And year 5? That's when we hit a massive tipping point. See, over those exact same 5 years, Ethan really enjoyed his paychecks, but his money never actually had a chance to grow. So when he finally decides it's time to start investing, he is in for a total shock. He looks over at Sophia and realizes her oldest investments are now generating more passive growth every single year than his brand new out-of-pocket contributions. Her time in the market is literally doing all the heavy lifting for her now. Section 2. The Snowball and the Orchard. You can think of this phase like rolling a tiny snowball. At first, one rotation barely adds any snow, right? It's pretty unimpressive. But as it rolls, every single turn adds another layer. And eventually, that snowball is so massive that it's growing faster with every passing second. Compounding works exactly like that. In the early years, your own savings are what create most of your wealth. But later on, your snowball is so huge that your returns, the money your money is making for you, create far more wealth than your actual savings ever could. Wealth really does grow exactly like nature. Picture planting a single apple tree. Years go by and it finally produces apples. Inside every one of those apples are seeds, which eventually become more trees, producing even more apples and creating even more seeds. Eventually, one single tree transforms into an entire orchard. And it doesn't happen through one giant heroic action. It happens through countless tiny cycles, just quietly repeating year after year. Section 3. The biggest investing mistake and why most people quit. Because for all its power, compounding has one major vulnerability: the fatal error. The real reason so many people fail to see this through is expecting dramatic results way too soon. People check their accounts after a few months, see nothing exciting, check again a year later, see it's still slow, and they just quit. What they absolutely don't realize is that they stopped right before the invisible force had enough time to accelerate. They essentially walked away from the bamboo tree right before it shot out of the ground. To reframe your mindset and stop yourself from making that exact mistake, imagine discovering an employee who never sleeps, never asks for a raise, never takes a vacation, and never retires. Plus, every single year, they somehow become even more productive. You'd keep them forever, wouldn't you? Well, that is exactly what your invested money becomes. It quietly builds your future while you relax, while you sleep, just working around the clock. Ultimately, the most powerful force growing your money isn't luck, it isn't predicting the perfect stock, and it for sure isn't working 80-hour weeks. It's something much quieter and way more reliable. The people who become really wealthy aren't always the ones earning the highest salaries. They're simply the ones who allow this invisible force to do its thing through patience, consistency, and time. Compounding isn't powerful because of one great year. It's powerful because of many ordinary years, stacked together. That really is the core secret here. It isn't a single miracle or one huge lucky year in the market. It's just the quiet stacking of many ordinary years, letting those small cycles slowly build your orchard. So, I want to leave you with this final thought. The greatest transformations out there almost always start off completely invisibly. The next time your financial progress feels agonizingly slow, remember that tiny seed beneath the soil. Think about the bamboo building its roots and that snowball at the very top of the hill, and ask yourself, do you have the patience to step back and let the invisible force do its job? Because one day, without any warning, you'll look back and realize your money has been growing all along. Thanks for joining us for this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.